let's talk about vitamin D, because I'm sure most of you guys realize that our main source of vitamin D comes from the sun. And that's really important because testosterone itself is composed of, it needs vitamin D in order to make testosterone, because vitamin D is actually, it's called a vitamin, but actually it's a hormone precursor. And that precursor is essential in order to create testosterone production. So you get more vitamin D from the sun, you tend to get more testosterone production. It's, they kind of go hand in hand. Now, the other thing that a lot of guys don't understand too is the sun produces way more than just that. Vitamin A, all kinds of biochemicals in our body, all kinds of healing in our body happens from the sun. And one that's really important to us is it heals and actually increases the production of dopamine receptors. Okay, and dopamine receptors are essential to sexual erections. This is a main reason that guys have a big issue with porn. When you're watching porn, especially if you're addicted to porn, your body just floods your brain, especially the more extreme it is and the longer you're watching it, it just floods your brain with dopamine. And it just hammers these dopamine receptors, really weakens them. Okay? And, getting away from the porn certainly helps. The body will start to heal itself. But if you add something like the sun, it heals not only much quicker, but you get more of these dopamine receptors. They did this study. I think there was almost 70 guys in the study, and they looked at the condensation of dopamine receptors. How many dopamine receptors you have per, cubic millimeter or whatever. And by far, the guys who got the most sun had the most amount of dopamine receptors. Okay? So keep that in mind, especially because those amount of dopamine receptors are going to help you in the bedroom, whether you're addicted to porn or not. But if you're recovering from porn addiction, the sun is one of your best friends. And particularly in the eyes too. That's a lot of guys make that mistake too, is they put on a bunch of sunblock, right? Now, if you're staying in the sun for hours at a time, that's one thing, and you've got a lot of sun, you do have to be kind of careful. But if you're just out for like half an hour and you're not like super pale skin, chances are you don't need, the sunblock for that amount of time. So you can get the full effect from the sun. And also they've shown that if you don't have shades on, you don't have sunglasses on, you can actually stay in the sun longer. Okay, because that's part of the cue, the brain cue, and how your brain regulates how that sun's affecting your skin. So you can actually, you're less susceptible to sunburn when you don't have sunglasses on. Plus, a lot of amazing things happen in the brain. For instance, the serotonin production we were talking about, that's just one thing that happens. And in the eye itself, when you get sunlight in the eye, right? And when you have shades on, you don't get it like that. So something to consider too, right, is are you wearing sunglasses in the sun? Okay, because it's going to decrease the amount of effect you get from it. And here's another thing most guys don't understand about the sun, is it's a nitric oxide producer. Okay, a powerful nitric oxide producer. We talked about nitric oxide last week in the blood flow class that I did. But in your skin itself, there are nitrites and there are nitrogen oxides. And when the sun hits your epidermis, the UV from that sun actually turns that into nitric oxide. So just think about that. The sun is boosting your testosterone levels. Okay, it's boosting your dopamine and healing and increasing the amount of dopamine receptors that you have in your brain, which are awesome for your sexual erections and for getting over porn. And it's increasing nitric oxide. It's doing all those things, right? It's one of the most powerful erection boosters, and it's free. It's completely overlooked by most guys. It's free. And, sun worship used to be a huge thing. The sun is the source of life on this planet. So get out in the sun. It's one of the best things you could do. And what I recommend is getting out in the sun. One of the easy things to do for a lot of people, not everyone, but if you in a place where you can take lunch outside, okay, get out in the sun and eat out in the sun, depending on the weather, of course. But if you have the opportunity, that's a simple way, because you generally want to shoot for about half an hour of sun. And, that's usually about how long it takes to eat. So you can just get out there, eat your erection boosting foods, enjoy your lunch, and get the sun and get all that benefit at the same time. So that's a simple strategy you can use. Just in case, I think most of you guys understand this, but just in case you don't, I talked about this last time. It's nitric oxide is what gets the blood vessels to open up, right? And we usually think of that in terms of foods, and foods are very important, but the sun, right? And that food was grown from the sun. The sun is the source of all of that. So super powerful. Get out in the sun. Okay, it's really, really going to help your morning wood too. The only thing I'd say on that is don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Because I'll have guys, give excuses. Well, I only had 10 minutes or whatever it is. That's still 10 more minutes that you would have gotten, versus it not doing it at all. So it doesn't have to be perfect. The more you can put in, though, that stuff adds up. Right? And the body has an incredible ability to heal if you give it the right stuff. And the sun is one of the really important things when it comes to healing. Okay, so now let's move on to the earth.
Hey man, I hope you got a ton out of this segment of the MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video series, where we are diving deep into overcoming this insidious alpha inhibitor that is blocking our birthright of having natural, long-lasting, stage 4 rock-hard erections. If you'd like to get free access to the entire MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video series, make sure you click the link in the description of this video to register for free access to all of these life-changing videos in this series, along with some other surprise bonuses. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, and turn on your notifications bell so that you get all of the future value-packed videos just like this that I will be releasing for you to help you be the best version of yourself and have natural, stage 4, rock-solid performance. I will see you tomorrow in the next MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video.